Brum, bum, bum. Epic intro song. Hey you, welcome to the long-awaited Quadra Proc guide. In this video we will go into detail about mostly everything related to Dosa for PvE. I recommend you set aside sufficient time to watch this video in its entirety. If you skip through the video you will end up missing some important information. The written combo will be in the video description. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to write your questions in the comments. Right, let's get straight to it. To understand how the activation of the elements work, we have to go back to basics. To activate an element, you simply have to use the correct element as it is visually shown on the screen. When I use an earth ability, you will see there is a small fire element hovering below the earth element mark on the ground. This means that you have to use fire after earth in order to activate the passive, to receive your passive buff and to deal extra damage. So here you have the fire marker. When I'm going to use fire, you see the element will go off. A small note is that you have to be inside this AoE or near its edge to receive the passive buff. Now, with this in mind, we are going to try and activate the same previous element again. The question of how exactly will that work arrives, and the answer is simple. Each element can be reused again after using the same element skill. So, if I use earth, I will use fire, and then I use fire again. Now that you understand this, we have to get technical. Each element you can activate will pulse 3 times and deal 5 hits of damage. After this pulse is over, you can use the same element type again to reactivate the same AoE that you've seen before. So if we do fire wood, we will at the end of this combo see 2 circles appear of the wood ability because we are adding an additional fire ability after the first AoE. And we will be in the perfect time frame to make the previous fire circle proc again, resulting in the appearance of 2 circles. So I will use fire, I will use wood, we're gonna use the second fire, and then you will see the 2 AoEs here coexisting together. This is the bread and butter technique of the Quadra Proc. In the Quadra Proc we are going to be reactivating 2 AoEs again, which will be your Earth skill. The Earth AoE will be visually spotted quite easily by 3 mushrooms. When you activate 2 of them at the same time, you will see 6 of them. Let's go ahead and take a look at the combo. This combo is quite similar to the triple proc combo. You do not have to use any flows without Z or Shai buff. This combo has 4 variations based on your situation and timing. 2 of these can be categorized as solo PvE and 2 will be categorized as group PvE with the Shai. And in this combo we are going to use filler skills like E, which is nail down, and the directional dodge Misty Steps to make up for cooldown issues. Other skills are not viable because I have tested everything beforehand and their animations are simply too long. That being said, you only want to dodge if you are taking too much damage. You do not want to dodge and reposition for back attacks, but we will get to this later. We will go into further details about the combo after showing you the rotation. So let's start with the solo category. I will do the most common combo very slowly with full animations naming their key combinations and of course the skill names for my console enjoyers. I do want to mention the dummies sometimes will not show the proper element reaction because they are not hitting me. So you want to start with either 1 hit RMB, if you're standing still or waiting for a response. If you're moving from pack to pack, you want to start with WF, which is Enlightened Haze, or your LMB Valium Slash. After that you use Shift E, Water Pour, backwards LMB Metal Pour, Q and S, which is Earth Reap. After that we use backwards RMB Fire Spread, going into Shift LMB Metal Temper, into Shift Q Earth Till, then you do a directional dodge, which is Misty Steps, into Shift RMB Fire Blaze, Shift F Wood Bend, E Nail Down, backwards RMB Fire Spread, and then F Wood Stake with the full animation. Cool. Now that you've seen the combo in slow motion, I will do it in quick succession to show you guys how it actually works. Pay close attention to the orange AoE circles, which is your earth AoEs. We have to use the combo this way and add E Naildown or Misty Stabs depending on what situation we are in. We will also have to linger Shift F Super Armor to make up for about 3 milliseconds of cooldown time if you're fighting singular mobs. You can easily differentiate when to use what. If you are fighting enemies that do not deal a lot of hits to you, like bosses, elites, mobs that hit you slow, you use E Naildown after Shift Q, Earth Till, and you just keep doing your combo rotation. When you're fighting mobs that hit you very often or fast or are in great numbers, you use the directional dodge Misty Stabs after Shift Q Earth Till, and you use E Naildown after Shift F Wood Band, which will be the most common one to use. I will now show you both variations and we'll call them slow or fast. The first one is the slow variation where you only use E Naildown after Shift Q Earth Till. Now the second one is the fast variation, and this one will be used the most. When you have your Z buff active in both situations, you will always use the fast hit variation. So you dodge after Shift Q Earth Till and you use E Naildown after Shift F. Now let's talk about the two Shai buff variants. For the Shai buff variant you want to use all the flows and use E Naildown after Shift Q. But when you have your Z buff active together with the Shai buff, you want to use the following combo. Shift E Water Weave, backwards LMB Metal Pour, backwards Q Earth Reap, backwards RMB Fire Spread, Shift LMB Metal Temper, Shift Q Earth Till, Shift RMB Fire Blaze, Shift F Wood Bend, and now we are adding backwards E Water Current and we're going to cancel it with Nail Down, like this. Then we use backwards RMB Fire Spread, and then you full hold F Wood Stake. Alright, these are all the variations and should give you like the best possible uptime in terms of DPS. Poof! Let's take a step backwards and go back to that moment when I said you do not want to dodge to do back attacks. I came up with a simple strategy that works specifically for Dosa Awakening, only to optimize constant DPS while being protected and do back attack damage. And in order to do this, you got that right, we will use our elements to do back attack damage for us, so turn off the aim assist. I don't really have a name for this strategy yet, but maybe you guys can come up with a cool name for it in the comments. So here is the picture, and it looks a bit weird, right? So we're gonna go over it step by step. Monsters can be back attacked just by standing next to them, rather than just their backs only. So what we're going to do is we are always going to start hitting the mobs from their side. So let's imagine we're starting here on the left side and the mob is looking this way. We will aim our abilities on the other side, which will be on their left, over here. Now what we can do is we can use our movement skills such as E-nail down and the directional dodge, misty steps, to move from left to right, which are gonna be the blue circles. This way all our AoEs, for the most part, will always do back attack damage, and yes, the AoEs do back attack damage. I tested this on the global apps and the live servers. So let's say you start here on the left, the mob is looking this way, you're hitting it with your stationary attacks, and your ranged attacks go to the other side of the mob. The mob is going to turn towards you this way, and then at some point you are gonna use Shift Q, and then you're gonna dodge towards this side. And you keep doing your rotation, the mob eventually will start looking at you again, and then when you are using Shift F, you are going to press nail down and dodge back to the other side. And that is basically how it works. Next up is our core skill, which will be Fire Blaze. The reason for this is because the skill is generally a lot slower than Metal Temper, and you can to an extent also iframe cancel Metal Temper like this. And because Metal Temper is more early in the combo, chances are that you're gonna get Succeed are gonna be just lower than using Fire Blaze, which is at the end of the combo. And here I will quickly show you guys my add-ons. As you can see, I have add-ons with plus 20 DP on Metal Temper. These are the add-ons I mainly use for spots where I'm most likely to die on. On spots where you don't really die at all, you can either exchange the plus 20 DP to monster damage, or you can change these add-ons to Earth Till and then add monster damage and cast speed. As for the Lightstone set, I only have been using Death Blow for the extra 12% critical hit rate because our passive, Fire Spread and Lightened Haze and Boot Stake, they have really low critical hit rate, and Death Blow will greatly increase the overall consistency of the critical damage that will occur throughout the combo. So it basically is almost the same damage as All Out Attack, but you keep your tankiness. For the last part of the video, I will show you guys an infinite movement rotation, which is going to be SE Water Current into Forward F and Lightened Haze, into Valium Slash, Shift Space, Valium Slash again, which is LMB, then you use SNF, which is Cloud Shield, Spacebar, LMB Valium Slash, left or right RMB Cloud Drift, into Forward F, into backwards E, into LMB, into Shift Space, into S and F again, and you keep rotating this. Oopsie. But yeah, you guys kind of get what I'm doing, right? It's super smooth. You cannot really mess this up. But you can like variate the skills a little bit here. If you have SC Water Current or your SNF Cloud Shield off cooldown, you want to prioritize these skills first for like minimum stamina consumption. And always try to avoid using the directional shift, because this uses way too much stamina. Also a little tip, when I use Cloud Shield, I turn my back to where I want to move, because it does a little backstep. And as soon as I disappear, I hold W or forward and then turn my camera 180 degrees for maximum travel distance, like this. I'll quickly show it to you again after the cooldown is over. Just like that. And this pretty much concludes everything I wanted to talk about in the video. I really appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope it was understandable and informative enough. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.